These boards will reveal some of the web's most searched questions about retirement.
We'll unveil the questions, and Loren and Chawn will have the answers.
Retirement income, Social Security, and more, right now on Retiring Today.
Welcome to Retiring Today. We know that you have a lot of questions about retirement. So here's what we did for this episode. We went to Google and we typed in the search bar a phrase about retirement. So for example, this board says, which retirement? And then we checked out the predictive questions that Google put in there, because we figure if a lot of these questions are happening on Google, they're probably things that you're wondering about. So the guys that are here to help answer those questions are Chawn Honkomp and Loren Merkle. They are both certified financial fiduciaries, certified financial planners, and Chawn is a CPA. So the fun thing is, guys, we get to reveal these right now and then talk about them. So Chawn, why don't you go first and go ahead and reveal. So we typed in which retirement. Let's talk about what question came up.
All right, yeah, let's get this started. So which retirement, first item that came up, which retirement account to withdraw from first? Conversation that we're very accustomed to and very something that we frequently see. So our families are coming in, they've accumulated all these accounts over the course of their accumulation stage of life. Getting into the distribution stage of life, that's a whole new stage of life. You haven't done that before. You're used to saving and letting the balances grow. Now you've got to start taking distributions, and a lot of people are asking, how do we do that? Where do we begin? So that's where having the plan is so valuable. We want to understand the different tax types of savings, retirement accounts that you have. We want to look at cost basis. We want to look at Social Security, understand the other sources, so that we can look at the entire picture. Let's look at the comprehensive plan. Let's understand all the assets you have so that you can be the most efficient with where you want to obtain your retirement income from.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because what they're trying to do is maximize their retirement income. So we need to take an inventory of the different types of accounts they have. Do they have just one retirement account? Do they have 4 different retirement accounts? What are some of the other income resources that they have? Do they have a pension? Most people have Social Security. Are they eligible for Social Security? Should they take their pension? What pension options should they take? All of these factors go into which account they should withdraw from first. And the income plan, this is where the income plan overlaps the tax plan, because a lot of the answers to that question for many people will be, how do you mitigate the impact of taxation? Because if you have 3 different types of retirement accounts and you have what we call tax diversification, not just asset allocation diversification, but tax diversification, now you have put yourself in the driver's seat to decrease the overall tax bill, increase your spendable income, and the answer to this question for you individually will impact not only your short-term income, but potentially your long-term income plan as well.
So guys, you can't just go like smallest to largest. It's not that. So
you're telling me
it's not that simple.
Well, that's a great comment, Loren. I was going to say too that we don't get stuck in that way. You know, we hope to have a 20, 30, 40-year retirement journey. This will change as you continue going through your retirement journey. We aren't stuck with what we decide today. A year from now, some future point, we're going to make some different changes as we have more information.
Yeah, and there's really not a default answer. Many people will say if they have a retirement account, so if they have an IRA, maybe a brokerage account, maybe a Roth, a lot of people will just automatically default to taking income from the IRA because that's what they thought they were supposed to do. That's what they had planned on doing 20 years ago when they set up this IRA, but that's not necessarily the case as far as what is going to provide the best income now and also the best income later.
All right,
my turn?
Question, your turn.
All right, so in the bar, which retirement funds to invest in? So which retirement funds to invest in? I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is so let's go back to the IRA. We're talking about the IRA in the context of the last question. The IRA is it's an IRS tax code is what it does. And if we're talking about the traditional IRA, what it means is that any money that's underneath the traditional IRA will grow tax deferred, and eventually when you take it out, you're going to pay taxes on it. The investment vehicle will determine how your money is actually invested. So if the question here is which retirement account or which retirement funds to invest in, the retirement part is the IRA, because that's the retirement account. And then the funds is what is the vehicle that you actually want to invest in to drive the performance. And so you can go with guaranteed investments, you can go with at-risk investments, and there's a whole litany of different types of investments that you can use underneath of that. So for you specifically, what should you invest in? It's going to go into your investment plan. It's going to be dependent upon what your income plan is, your tax plan. All these things are going to factor into how to answer that question. And that's where the customization, a part of where the customization of your plan comes into place. It's your retirement. It should be your plan, and your answer could be different than your neighbors or your coworkers.
And I'm not surprised that that search result has the word funds in it. Again, through accumulation stage of life, we're so common, it's so used to saving in mutual funds. That's what employer plans, 401k plans, that's generally what the investment lineup has to offer. As you get into that pre-retirement stage of life, there's a whole world of other investments that are out there. We don't need to be in mutual funds. So what we try to do is we work with our families. We want to help develop your plan, just like Loren said. We try to stress that you should want the transparency around your portfolio. Let's make sure you understand and know exactly what you own, what the purpose is, what your cost is, how much risk you're taking. So there's an opportunity now to have more transparency around that portfolio and not just be invested in mutual funds.
And I thought here you were going to tell me which stock to buy to get rich. No? When I'm in that conversation?
No, not right now.
Okay, all right. Let's reveal the last one.
All right, Chawn, you want the last one?
We'll take the last one. So, the third item is in which retirement account is the best? Well, I like to think the best one is the largest one, right? The most dollars is going to be the best. That is, again, part of the planning and knowing that what options are out there. How do you maximize? You mentioned before about being as efficient as possible. Ideally, you would have zero complaints if every one of your retirement dollars was in a Roth account. Taxes are all paid. You can sail into retirement knowing that you have lowered or completely mitigated tax rate risk. So that is part of the strategies that we do as we work and build these comprehensive retirement plans. Over time, year after year, that's part of the tax plan, is identify opportunities where it may make sense to convert or move some of these funds from pre-tax to Roth. So that gives you that opportunity to not have as much of a tax rate risk in your retirement journey. So as far as the best retirement account, it depends. There's a lot of options out there. There's tax advantage to the pre-tax, there's tax advantages to the non-qualified, there's tax advantages to Roth. There's other tax advantages to utilizing life insurance as part of your portfolio. So it's about, we look at our job as about obtaining that information, providing that information to the families we work with so that they're aware of all these different options and they can make the decisions that are the best fit for them.
What I think is really interesting, so if we look at this and we typed in which retirement, and then 2 out of the 3 top results had to do, these are pretty general topics, which retirement funds to invest in, which retirement account is the best. To me, that is going towards the investment piece, right? And that's what a lot of people are focused on as they get to retirement, but also go through retirement, is the investment piece, because that's the sexy piece. That's what makes us money. It's what loses us money when we turn on the news and we hear that Russia's attacking Ukraine and the COVID hit in 2020. And right, this is the stuff that people pay a lot of attention to. But when it comes to retirement and retirement planning, there's so much more that goes into it. So we talked about the tax planning a little bit. We talk about the income planning. We talk a lot about the Medicare planning. We talk about legacy planning. Where do you want these assets to go when you pass on? We talk about the investment plan as a piece of it, but it's not the whole thing. All of these things have to work together, and decisions you make on one of these components, including the investment piece of your plan, will impact the others. And that's how this whole retirement plan works together to form your retirement vision.
The web's a great place to start, maybe the conversation about retirement, but what about talking directly to a retirement planner about your situation? Here's a great opportunity. It's a 15-minute retirement checkup call. It's a complimentary call that you can schedule by going to the website on your screen. You can talk directly to a retirement planner about your situation. We'll continue talking about the web's most searched questions about retirement when Retiring Today continues.
The Merkle Retirement Planning Team provides personable and professional expertise unrivaled in this area. They include us in every step of the planning process. The peace of mind provided to us by the Merkle team allows us to fully enjoy this special time of our lives. Instead of feeling snakebit, we feel confident that with the Merkle Retirement Planning Team at our sides, we can navigate any challenge that comes our way.
Merkle Retirement Planning. Your retirement starts here.
Biking, boating, relaxation? What's your retirement vision? Learn how to take the money you've worked so hard to save and turn it into the retirement of your dreams during our Journey to Retirement workshop. Like getting ready for a trip, getting to and through retirement takes a roadmap. This workshop is the first step to planning your 20 or 30-year vacation. Go to retirewithmerkle.com to register for our Journey to Retirement workshop this week.
Welcome back to Retiring Today. Today we're talking about Google's most searched questions about retirement. Another Google board in front of us. So what we did for this one is we typed in the search bar, what Social Security, and now we'll reveal the questions. Loren and Chawn will answer them, and we continue. So Social Security, guys, you get a lot of questions about it. Let's see what people are searching on the web.
Okay, so we typed in what Social Security, and what popped up is what Social Security benefits are taxable. One of our favorite things to talk about, taxes, and then you combine that with Social Security. How could you possibly go wrong? The answer to that question is it depends on what income you have coming in. For some people, your Social Security benefits aren't taxable at all at the federal level as well as at the state level. So let's take the state of Iowa as an example. Regardless of what income you make, your Social Security benefits are tax-free. So you do not pay state income tax on the Social Security income received. The question is from a federal standpoint, do you pay taxes on that income? And that's going to depend upon what level of income you have. So, and also your marital status. So if you're single and your income starts at about $25,000 and it goes up to $34,000, if your income is below $25,000, then you're not taxed federally on Social Security income. If it creeps up past $25,000, then it's taxed at a prorated rate, and it goes up to $34,000. After $34,000 of income, then 85% of your Social Security income is taxable at the federal level. If you're married, then it starts about $35,000. Anything below $35,000 is not taxed. And once your income gets above about $44,000, then it's taxed at the 85% level. Now, those numbers I just gave, that's not just your Social Security income. That's all your taxable income. So if you have pension income, it goes into that equation. If you have income from IRA distributions that are taxable, that goes into that equation. And the Social Security income, the way they do that is divide. So let's say you get $17,000 of Social Security income for the year, divide that by 2, so $8,500, add that to your other taxable income, and that's the equation to determine is your Social Security income taxable. Does that make sense? That's pretty easy?
Perfectly clear.
Chawn is a CPA, so I'm sure that he's understood, but it's a little complicated, is what I'm gathering.
It is. So I guess the short answer is it may be taxable. It may not be taxable depending upon what other income you have coming in.
That's answered a lot of these questions. So really, they're specific to your situation and your accounts and a lot of other pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, but that makes a great point. That goes into why when you have these questions, yes, Google is a great place to start. You can give you some foundational information that may or may not be applicable to you, but really what you need to do is dive into the details specific to you in your situation.
Yeah, and that makes an argument for a 15-minute checkup call. It's a good time to ask maybe a specific question to a retirement planner about the questions that you're wanting to have answered. So again, that website's on the screen now. You can schedule a 15-minute complimentary checkup call. Who's got the board?
Chawn, I was taking notes, but I might need you to run through that just one more time and maybe a little slower.
It was perfectly clear to me. I don't know where I could have possibly lost you guys.
And a thought I had there is that we know that when to elect Social Security is always a conversation we have with our families because almost everybody has Social Security benefit. But the taxation of it is something we need to be aware of. It drives some of these other decisions that we make. So as we work through the different components of our planning process, we need to be thinking about that. It can drive us and your family, our families, to make a different decision on when to elect Social Security. So we definitely want to be factoring in the tax plan as well as part of the complex Social Security decision.
We have to factor the tax plan into about every decision we make as we go to and through retirement.
Yeah, including Medicare, which we have a part 2 of Google's most searched questions, and we bring in Director of Medicare, Anne Marie Morrow, and she's going to answer some of the most searched Medicare questions. So if you're interested in Medicare, go to YouTube, search Merkle Retirement Planning. You can see the segment on Medicare. Let's go back to Social Security.
All right, what Social Security, the second result. What Social Security do I get when I retire?
Depends.
It depends.
So how much a month maybe is that? I mean, obviously it's up for interpretation there, but people are kind of curious what are the ranges of what people can get a month?
And then maybe how do you find out?
Yeah, it definitely is very unique to your situation. It's based on your earnings history. So the benefit you receive is based on the highest 35 years of earnings that you've accumulated during your working career. And then you have that 8-year time frame of when to elect. So at age 62 is the earliest under most situations, typical scenarios that you can elect, and you can delay it all the way out to 70. And then during that time frame, you get, depending on the time frame, you get somewhere between 6.5% up to 8% guaranteed increase every year. So that does, all of that timing of when to elect, that does drive and factor in what your ultimate Social Security benefit will be. We see that on average, maybe an average Social Security benefit that a lot of people see is somewhere around $1,500. We were looking before and talking about the maximum benefit that can be out there is just shy of $4,200 a year.
If you elect at age 70.
And again, that's if you delayed all the way.
Yep.
So you've gotten that, 7 and 8% growth through that 8-year time frame. To let that grow even more, obviously your life expectancy is less. They're willing to pay you more per month if you do delay out to that age 70.
Yeah, and so if you want to find out what your estimated Social Security payments are, it's easy. Just go to ssa.gov, ssa.gov. You have to create an account, but then once you create an account, it'll show you here's your benefit amount at age 62, here's what it is at full retirement age, here's what it is at age 70, and that's just the start, because you have up to 81 different options as far as how to elect, and each one of those options will give you a different income amount when you elect it based on that option. So it's a good place to start. But then there's much more analysis that's necessary to actually determine when you should elect, which of the 81 options make the most sense, and then that will determine what your benefit actually is.
We're talking about the web, which of course we know it's a great tool. But guys, what about my paper Social Security statement? You know, I got my first one when I was 14. I worked for the Parks and Recs that summer. I think I made about $71. I don't get those in the mail anymore, right?
Yeah, when's the last time you got one?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I think I saved one. I think I've got one in a box somewhere. But they no longer send those out, or they get them in certain circumstances?
Yeah, they used to mail them out to everybody, every working American. They've stopped that a few years ago, and now they don't start mailing them again until you hit age 60. And then they only mail it out to you if you have hit age 60 and don't have the account that Loren talked about before, if you haven't gone to ssa.gov. So above 60, don't have the account online, then they will mail it to you once a year, about 3 months before your birthday. They're going to send it out to you. If you want to be able to go look at that anytime, see the updates, that's where having the account online at ssa.gov can be very valuable.
Okay, one more question from the web. Who's got it?
All right, let's see what it is. All right, so again, we typed in what Social Security benefits does a widow receive? What Social Security benefits does a widow receive? The widow, so this is interesting. As a widow, you are eligible to take survivorship benefits as early as age 60 in most scenarios. So you can turn it on at 60. You do receive a reduced benefit if you take it that early. But here's one of the options that you could have. Let's say you take your survivorship benefits at age 60. You can allow your benefits to grow all the way up until age 70 if you want to. So you're taking a reduction on your survivorship benefits, but you could allow your benefits to grow all the way up to 70 to the maximum benefit. Or another strategy is you could take your benefits as early as age 62 and then allow those survivorship benefits to grow up until your full retirement age. And then you could switch over to your survivorship benefits. So if you're in a widow situation with Social Security, you probably have a lot more options than what just a standard individual would have. And this is where that analysis really comes into play to say, what if you do this? How does that impact you short and long term? What if you do this? How does it impact you short and long term? And that gives you the confidence to understand, here's how much you'd receive if, and is that the right decision?
We've got one more question to go over. It's about retirement income. When Retiring Today continues.
Anytime I have even the smallest question about my accounts or what effect the latest tax law might have on my situation, the Merkle Retirement Planning Team is always there and quick to help. I'm so glad they treat you like family. I'm so happy to have such an excellent team working for my future and ensuring I do the best to achieve my financial goals.
Merkle Retirement Planning. Your retirement starts here.
Has the recent market volatility put your retirement plan to the test? See if your retirement is still on track by scheduling a retirement checkup with Loren Merkle. During this 15-minute phone call, we'll discuss if your retirement plan could be disrupted by long-term market volatility. We'll also analyze your current tax plan and provide strategies on how to take advantage of the market. Go to merkleplan.com and click Book Now to schedule your retirement checkup today.
Welcome back. Our next question, we typed into the search bar, how does retirement income? Loren, let's reveal the most searched questions about retirement income.
Okay, here we go. So the top question was, how does retirement income work? Is that broad enough? So we could take that a lot of different ways. How does retirement income work? The good news is it's very flexible and you have a lot of options of how you make your retirement income work. So I thought, let's take this to the tax conversation, right? Taxes, retirement income, that's always a lot of fun. Let's talk about how retirement income works for Mary. Mary's our hypothetical individual. She's divorced, so she files in the single tax bracket, or the single tax rates. So she has $1 million of retirement savings saved. She has $500,000 in the IRA. All of that money in the IRA has never been taxed. It will be taxed when she takes it out at her ordinary income tax bracket. The Roth, we know how that works. We talk about the Roth all the time. The growth on it's tax-free. When she takes it out, 100% tax-free. The non-qualified account, so this is a brokerage account, right? Stocks, bonds, mutual funds. The realized gains and dividends will be subject to tax in that year that Mary receives it. So she needs, in retirement, $85,000. She already received $17,000 from her pension, $23,000 from her Social Security, and she has a gap then of $45,000. So she gets $40,000 from pension and Social Security. She needs $45,000 more. Now, traditional retirement income planning thinking is that Mary should take that $45,000 from the IRA because that's what she was always thinking. That's why she saved that money. She rolled this money over from her 401k plan, and her thought process was when she retires, she's going to take her income from that bucket. Now, she can, and let's say she does. This income here from the pension, taxed at ordinary income, $23,000 of Social Security, 85% of that will be taxed at the federal level because of the income amount that she needs. So if she takes the $45,000 from the IRA, that is all taxable at her ordinary bracket, which puts her in the top marginal bracket, filing single, of 22%. Now that's okay, but the question is, can she do a little bit better? So we can take advantage of the hard work she's done by creating this tax diversification by not early in retirement, by not taking the $45,000 from the IRA. She can take it from the non-qualified account. And she can structure that income through tax loss harvesting strategies. I know that makes a lot of sense. And other tax planning strategies
Just
where
to
she
you,
can,
right?
Yeah, right?
Got it.
And other tax planning strategies where the level of income she pays can be very little and some years even not. But if she has taxable income from it, most likely it's long-term capital gains, which could be taxed at 0 or at the highest rate for her at 15%. So it's a much more tax-friendly way to deliver that income. She can still receive the $85,000 of income she needs, but she gets to spend more of it because her tax bill is less. So that's one option. Or she can do everything we just said, but then she can also do conversions because her tax bracket is lower. She can use the tax planning strategy that we talked about a lot on these shows called fill up her tax bracket, which means she can convert money from the pre-tax, pay taxes on it in that year, and shift it over here to this Roth IRA. And that's one really effective way she can build this most coveted retirement account for her, which is the Roth IRA tax-free balance.
And efficiency is really the key there. When you have those different tax buckets, you have the options to be able to do some of these things. And another big part is we know there's a lot of moving pieces that it might drive us to make one decision this year. That doesn't mean we're locked into that. We don't just stick with that decision for the next 5-10 years. Different factors, different conditions, tax rate changes, market changes. We've got to use that information to make decisions year after year.
Yeah, that was just 1 year of her income example. She might do something completely different the next year and then something again different the following year. Each year she needs to make those decisions based on her plan.
All right. Chawn, why don't you review
All
the
right,
question?
you bet. Next item for how does retirement income affect Medicare? This is another aspect of where these decisions overlap each other. We have to be aware of what the income plan looks like as we work with our families and build their plans, and we want to know what the impact is for Medicare. So we turn 65, Medicare becomes an option, and there's these different brackets. So that it's income based. So at the lowest, we know that it's around $170. It can be as high as up over $500 a month. So depending on the different income sources we have, That's going to drive what amount is taxable. The total amount of taxable income that you show is going to impact how much you pay for your Medicare Part B.
Yeah, so going back to Mary, taking the distributions from the non-qualified could impact what her Medicare Part B premiums are. If she was taking all of those from her pre-tax account, there could be some years that it increases her Medicare premiums, taking it from the non-qualified, at least early in retirement while she does Roth conversions, builds up the tax-free Roth. It could really impact in a positive way what she pays Medicare down the road.
We did 2 episodes on the web's most searched questions on Google, and we searched some stuff about Medicare. Anne Marie Morrow, our director of Medicare, joined us for that episode. Go to YouTube, search Merkle Retirement Planning, and you can go more in depth on Medicare and learn some great stuff there. We've got time to quickly do this last question, Loren.
Okay, we got one more. Again, how does retirement income affect Social Security? So retirement income can impact your Social Security. The first thing that comes to mind, taxes.
Always taxes.
The income that you receive, it could impact the level of tax that you pay on Social Security. You may pay 0 on the federal level of Social Security if you can keep your taxable Social Security below those income limits. At the high side, you could pay up to 85% at the federal level. And in the state of Iowa, you don't pay any taxes on your Social Security income. So how does your retirement income affect Social Security? Number 1, taxes, but also number 2, when you take Social Security. Because if you're taking income from these other sources, you might decide to delay receipt of your Social Security and take advantage of the guaranteed embedded gains that Social Security offers as well.
And Loren, just these first three that we've gotten through, a common theme that sticks out in my mind is just the efficiency. We want to maximize the assets. How do you get to keep and save and spend as much of the assets as your total retirement savings as possible within your plan?
If you want to learn more about retirement and all the aspects that go into it, here's a great opportunity. It's our Journey to Retirement workshop. There's a website on your screen right now. You can go there and sign up for a workshop opportunity and get started on your journey to retirement. Thanks for watching.
Biking, boating, relaxation? What's your retirement vision? Learn how to take the money you've worked so hard to save and turn it into the retirement of your dreams during our Journey to Retirement workshop. Like getting ready for a trip, getting to and through retirement takes a roadmap. This workshop is the first step to planning your 20 or 30-year vacation. Go to retirewithmerkle.com to register for our Journey to Retirement workshop this week.